We got a call earlier this morning about someone asking how to hook up Toolbox, and we thought, hey, why don't we put together a short tutorial or at least explain a few things for those that like to get into connecting to their cars themselves and using the Toolbox software. Quick things that you need. So on an older Model S or Model X, you need a specific cable. So I'm going to turn the camera on. You need this cable. On one side is the old Ethernets, as Josh was modeling there for a quick second. And then the other side is this type of connector. What did they call this? It was a FACRA connector. It looks like a coax. It's actually a 4-pin. Might be a 4-pin coax. At any rate, where that connection is under the main display for the MCU, as we call it. Your central gateway. So if you have an early 13 model, there's two locations for that connector, like where it sits. The early ones, it was behind this pillar, the IP side trim piece. You pulled that off on like a late 12 through 13 to early 14, I believe. I'm probably getting that somewhat wrong, but whatever. I do my best. But just know that early ones location was here, later one under the MCU display, the little cubby. So I can show you what this looks like. So yeah, it's a little 4-pin. I guess it could be a coax. 4 pins with the shielding around the outside, and then the other side is just a standard Ethernet. This one has a tab broken off. Don't judge me. It broke. You need this cable. You can get this cable from a supplier called MPCM, I believe. They've been around long enough that you could probably just Google, I'm looking for this cable, and it'll come up, and you go to that website. You can purchase it through there. Once you have the Toolbox day pass or month or weekly pass or monthly or whatever it is, you get the pass. Then you have the cable. You connect to the car. Then you have to do the couple of software things. So you would go to service.tesla.com. You go to Diagnostics, Diagnostic Software. Scroll down. Now, if you're logged in, like I'm logged in, there's my silly name over there. If you're logged in, you'll see it says Access Toolbox. So there's a daily pass for $75, monthly for $150, and an annual for $700. So if you needed it for, I'd say a day or two because you're trying to get yourself familiar, trying to figure out how it all works, maybe get the monthly just to give yourself a chance, because the day might not be long enough to really get it all figured out. But anyways, you go to Access Toolbox, brings you to the screen. This is where the VIN will pop up. These are all the little things that you need. It gives you some information here, things of like how to set up or what you need to do, local network setup. If you click that, it'll show you all these things. So when you first set up Toolbox to connect, you have to go into your network adapters, and you go to the Ethernet adapter, and you have to configure the port to a certain IP. So I guess this is sort of helpful to show you that you need I think that's the IP address right there. So you need to set that IP address so that it is configured to the port. So when you go to the Ethernet to the car, then it'll recognize it. The other thing that they need you to do, or they require you to do, is allow certain permissions. So if you go to site settings and then you go down to insecure content. So in order to get Toolbox to correctly operate, you need to allow insecure content in the site settings. So specific to the Toolbox site. Those are the kind of tricky things that if you aren't that familiar, maybe hard to understand, or it can get confusing, or sometimes just easier to have someone show you. So you have all those things, then you should be able to just plug everything in, have it communicate and connect, and take it from there. So there's usually 2 cables. This is the other one. This is like an OBD port or a CAN interface. There's 2 different versions of this. There's a blue and the white one, I believe, but you don't really have to worry about that one. That's probably a different video. So you make that connection, right? Then you open up your laptop, and you get your Ethernet, you plug that in, you just hit connect. And make sure it's on local. Don't worry about this NASTF. That's not for anybody. And then it'll just start going through the process. Oh, this is normal. So see how it goes. Traffic to Odin blocked, security Ethernet unlock. That's normal. Don't sweat that. That may take a minute to 3 minutes, and you might have to do it a few times. It's kind of annoying. The other thing that you need to have on is this thing called Toolbox Proxy down there. And that is something that you can download, where it says download software, Toolbox Proxy. So you need to install this. That has to be on in the background in order for Toolbox to operate and connect. Just FYI. So if that's not, it'll say proxy not found. So that's a pretty easy troubleshooting step. If you don't have that on, then you won't get it. So you need the subscription. You need the cable. You need to configure the Ethernet network adapter to that specific IP address that the instructions will tell you. You need to allow insecure content in the site settings. And then you need to download and install the Toolbox proxy program from within the Toolbox software. Have that running in the background like I showed you down here. There it is. See, Toolbox proxy. That's just on in the background. Then hit connect and just wait. So on older S's, this may take a while, like a really long time. And newer ones, they go a little faster. But on the older ones, you're waiting for the security Ethernet unlock. Once that unlocks, the first thing I like to do is you go to the Actions tab and you type in SEC. You can see it's stored because I do it so often. So once the vehicle connects, a certain action will come up here. It'll say Security Ethernet Unlock. Run that routine. That way, if you get disconnected within the next few hours, it'll load immediately. So that's another little trick in case anyone was wondering. Yeah, so it failed this time, which is fine. It does that sometimes. Sometimes when it first fails, the second time it'll run right through. Oh, see, just like that, bang. So you actually want that because you hope that happens on the second one. Now we type in the SEC, and this is specific for older Tegra units. So what I want to do, can I run this right now? Anyway, this is the stuff you go through on the older Model S's. It will do all these weird things. There's no way around it. Now I'm stuck back on this, trying to reconnect. So anyways, hopefully that helped anyone. You need the subscription, you need the cable, you need to download Toolbox proxy and install it on your machine. You need to configure the Ethernet port IP address based on the instructions, and you need to allow insecure content on the site settings, and then just hit connect. So that's on older S's and X's. 3s and Ys have a different cable. They're either a different data cable or a Ethernet on both sides. The newer S's and X's, I think, are just Ethernet, if I'm not mistaken. And then some had like another weird interface device that I think they've since gotten rid of. Anyways, there you go. That's it for today.